Hey y'all, good morning. Thank you for tuning in to Car Chronicles. I really don't have a title for today, but check this out. In junior high, for a while, I was the only brown person in my advanced English class. And one year, at the beginning of the year, the teacher had to be out for several weeks. Therefore, we had a substitute. The substitute was an older white lady. During that time, we had the old clocks that had the minute hand, the hour hand, and the second hand. So I knew I had studied the clock and I knew exactly how long I had to get to my seat before the bell rang. So sometimes I would play around with that time as it relates to getting to my class. So this one particular morning, I was headed to class. I didn't have a long time to get to my seat. So I was walking into the classroom and this lady blocked the door so I couldn't get in. And she pointed across the hall and said, "Regular English is over there. You're supposed to be over there." Now, I had to take a deep breath because I had a vision of myself drop kicking her 32 times. However, my mother taught me to be very respectful to the elderly. So I held it together and I smiled and I politely said, "Ma'am, there is nothing regular about me. Furthermore, I have been coming here for quite some time now." I know exactly where I'm supposed to be. You're just a visitor here, right? She didn't know what to say. And I said, "Ma'am, if you excuse me, I only have 13 seconds to get to my seat. I need to be in my seat before the bell rings so that I am not tardy." And I started walking toward her, and she moved out of the way. But check this out. I didn't run to the office and report her. Neither did I run home to my mama and tell her what had happened. Because if I had told my mom, she would have been up at the school talking about racism, her and her friends, these white people, my child. No, while that may have been true, I didn't want that to happen. I wanted that lady to stay in her position. I wanted her to stay there so that she could see that she could not break me. Every time she saw me, she had to give me a paper with a 98 on it or either 100. Those were the only two grades that I ever made in that class. She knew that she couldn't take my wisdom. She knew that she couldn't take the favor that God had placed on my life. Therefore, she tried to make silly statements to make me act out of character, to to prove her point that I didn't belong there. However, her tactics did not work. Many of you, you are mad. You are even mad with God. You are bitter. You can't forgive because the person who has oppressed you, the person who has lied on you, the person who has put false charges on you are still in their position. Let me tell you something. Sometimes God will allow your enemies to stay to stay in their position to show you that He is God. Pharaoh could not be moved. It didn't matter how racist he was. It didn't matter how oppressive and evil he was. The Bible even says that God turned his heart so he wouldn't, oh my goodness, let the people go. Sometimes God won't allow your enemies. Sometimes he'll harden their hearts so that he can judge them. As I've been stating, it's judgment time. It's judgment. That's all I keep hearing is it's judgment time. When the Hebrew boys, when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were thrown into the fiery furnace, that was abuse of power of the government. But if you look at what happened to those officers that threw him in the furnace, go read what happened to them. We are literally about to see God's hand in as it relates into our affairs. Um, if you notice, I never let that one lady stop me from liking other white people, because you can't judge a whole race by the actions of one person. And that's where we've messed up. We try to judge a whole race, a party. All the Democrats are like this, all the Republicans. No. And we're actually going to see a turning. It's going to be let me shut up, I'll talk about that the next time. Because we're going to need each other as it relates to what's about to happen. Whites are going to need blacks, blacks are going to need whites, Hispanics, vice versa. We're going to have to realize who the enemy really is. Later on in my life, I had a situation to where it was black people who were ganging up against me. And guess what? An older white lady, stepped in and put an end to it, because she knew that the black people were lying. So we're going to have to get out of this color thing. We're going to have to get out of this race thing and focus on who the real enemy is. What we're seeing happening with Trump is not a coincidence. This is very prophetic. It's very prophetic. If they convict this man, there's going to be trouble, chaos throughout the nation and throughout the world. So pray for him. Pray that, I'm not saying that he's a perfect man by far. The man has a strong spirit of pride. Which, while y'all trying to prophesy him back in, you need to be praying against. You need to be praying against that spirit of pride. Get him delivered from that. You can't prophesy over scripture. The scripture says pride comes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. So before you try to prophesy him back into office, those of you who are close to him, get that spirit out of him. And that's the thing too. We have gotten out of position. Before the church was here, there was government. Before a prophet ever prophesied in the church, he prophesied to kings or to presidents. So God, God is going to bring that back around. So don't let people get you out of your position. Many of you have been tricked out of your position. People come on Facebook, on social media, on Instagram, whatever you're on. They say these things to you, or they even put out false narratives about you to get you out of character, and you have fallen for it. However, God is going to redeem. He's going to redeem your business. He's going to redeem your families. He's even going to redeem your reputation. When people can't find things on you, they make up stuff. So your character is going to outlive the lie. And this next miracle is going to prove that we don't serve a regular God. Neither are you regular. He is supernatural, and he is absolutely amazing. And so are you. Don't get tricked out of your position. Stay focused and stay encouraged. Have an amazing day.